Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Is there any public comment? Okay, does anybody have any changes to the minutes? I guess we have a couple meetings worth of minutes printed off.
Nope, I looked at the meeting.
I believe Jess said she was gonna call in.
Did she?
Yeah.
She didn't tell me. I didn't get that.
No corrections, Bob? Okay, minutes stand approved. Do we have financial reports or claims?
Oh, yes. Claims galore. All right, so here is one for Rocky Mountain Supply, $87.96. We've got one for me for none other than cartridges, black ink. Then I have two separate ones, that's the way they came from Townsend Hardware. One is $471.45, and the other one is $61.59. And then the last one is for your Northwest Insurance for airport insurance for $5,975 for the year.
And did you get the bill for the, from Montana Aeronautics for the cameras?
I did, and I wasn't supposed to.
Oh,
Okay, when we paid that, thanks for asking, because I had to call her today, Madeline. When we got that bill, they charged us the full amount, the full 3,000, whatever that was, and we paid it, and we weren't supposed to.
oh,
The grant was for half, we were only supposed to pay for half, so then they, put the money back in the county account, and then I got another bill for the half amount, and
Yeah.
I called her, and she said, no, do not pay that robo went out as a robo invoice.
Okay,
So
and
don't pay it, so we've already paid it, and we don't need to, and the county's been paid back.
Okay.
okay, perfect. And it went to Steve Palinkos for some reason, who gave it to me.
Weird.
Who got it to me?
I did.
Okay, great. Wow, well, we didn't have to pay it.
It was
so.
well traveled by the time it got there.
Yeah,
It was, and now I
guess.
understand about all the, and then Dwight, I have this receipt for $14.30, and it was kind of just random, but it didn't come up on the Rocky Mountain one, it's
Oh.
for Rocky Mountain. I guess I'll just wait for Rocky Mountain to send me a bill on that, cause
I
that's
think
not,
that's for gas for the mower.
well, I never got a bill from them for that,
It
so
is,
I'll
it is
keep it.
gas, yeah, that's gas.
Okay, but you didn't pay for it, did you? You
No,
used
I
the,
put it on
okay,
the check.
I'll just wait for a bill and see if that comes through then, so we won't pay that one right now.
Airport insurance, and then what was the other one?
Couple Townsend Hardware,
Townsend Hardware.
What was the 475?
that's Townsend Hardware.
Oh,
Yeah, that was for like the toilet seat, it lists on there what it's for and underneath.
Yeah,
Paint.
for the outhouse.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that insurance that's on the budget every year,
Mhm.
and I think it's about the same thing. It seemed to me it was like $5,600 last year or something, it's probably gone up a little bit.
And that's in your budget too, by the way, so you're within budget.
The increase?
The insurance, yeah,
Yeah.
you're good.
And then if you wanna look in your cash account, for the record, there's $88,012.10 in your airport cash, and your CIP, there's $18,203.94 for a total of $106,216.04.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the claims?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Lance is not gonna be here tonight, I understand. He did send out an email, it's very brief, I'll just read it quickly here. Land closing was completed on the two 1.18 acre parcels on Tuesday, 6/20. RPA will be working on the remaining FAA paperwork to close out for closeout to county. We will be immediately ready to claim reimbursement and close the project as soon as the FAA grant offer is issued. That's all I have on it. Anybody have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. The airport lease agreement changes. Abra emailed it out. I had printed a copy here. It seemed like the changes that, it was Jania making those changes?
I think Peter Simon made some changes for the city
Okay,
and it's up in our county attorney's office. I think that they have all agreed that they're good to go, so.
yeah, it was, the changes were basically wording or,
Yeah.
it was wording, it was
Flow.
Very,
verbiage.
yeah, very minimal, so.
okay,
I think we're all kind of taking a chance that, we'll go ahead and do our part. I think the city meets next week,
No,
Or
we actually,
10th.
we meet on the 10th.
on the 10th, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
changed it by a
Yeah.
week because of the holiday.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna meet on Monday the 10th.
And then-
Okay.
And I do hope that we can finally get it voted on.
Sure.
Yeah, and then it'll come back before the commission again, and then we'll,
okay. Do you need approval of the changes from us?
yes. please.
Okay.
I looked them over, and are you looking for a motion yet, or do you wanna discuss them?
Well, let's
we
do a
need-
motion and then we can discuss if necessary.
I will move that we adopt the airport lease agreement as you set out. There's a copy here.
Okay,
The only thing, you know, well, I'll put that motion on the floor.
okay,
I'll second it.
okay, discussion.
Now, we were visiting at the special meeting about whether they have to have an aircraft when they lease the hangar space or what. Has anybody thought any more about that?
That's not part of your lease agreement. That's a
That
separate.
applications,
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
separate discussion, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really belong in the lease, that's a,
Yeah. That's-
okay,
That's the application.
which we will talk about here shortly.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, any other discussion?
No, I reviewed it and it looks fine. Changes are pretty minimal, just
I did the same.
clarification, so it looks good.
Okay, any further discussion? Yes.
I had sent in a chain or addition that gets sent out, maybe I did, it said on maintaining the grounds around your hangar.
Yeah, and I got your email.
Oh.
I thought that was already
Was
in
it in
here.
there? I don't-
It's,
okay.
it's,
It-
yeah,
I think it's there.
It's there, okay.
it is here.
Oh, okay, I guess I just was,
Yep, that's included already, I believe.
Yep.
okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Okay, the final draft hangar construction / application process document. So that's the one I just handed out. This is simply a template. It's nothing fancy. But I thought maybe we should have a template to work on. So as discussed at the last meeting, I combined what'll essentially be what was 3 documents. The first one I just simply copied from I think it was Madison Airport or something. Basically the company name, all the information I included, aircraft tail number. What we were discussing last meeting was the next portion here where it says, applications will be considered at the monthly board meeting. Order of priority for consideration will be based on the following. Number 1, and this is something we need to discuss and see if it's legal or feasible. Number 1, applications from Broadwater County residents in the order in which they were completed, which the completed written application was received. And then number 2, all other applications in the order they were received. And that was the question, if that's appropriate.
Yeah, And we won't know, so, I mean, whatever you guys come up with, what you decide, then we'll go to our county attorneys and they'll advise us on that, and then we'll have to bring it back to you guys anyway for the final approval, so.
I think it should be like that.
Mhm.
The Broadwater County residents have some skin in this game.
Sure, yeah. I think
That
it's
was-
worth a go.
That was Jess's point
Yep.
as well.
Yeah.
Can I
And
ask
businesses.
something?
Broadwater
Yes.
County businesses.
Go
If
ahead.
you're only
Oh,
allowing.
excuse me, you have to come up to the,
Oh,
Yeah,
I have to
sorry.
go up?
And
Yeah.
say your name, and say your name.
and say and spell your name.
Oh, I'm gonna go with AJ. AJ Kalawaya, KALAWAI'. Just to help you, if I could, but it might not be helpful. If you separate like county people from Townsend and the applicants out of the county or below that, I would question whoever your attorney is steering, if that's steering or not. And then because our governor is trying to change a lot of things with rentals and leases and make sure that they're more equivocal and fair across the board, I had a point and I got nervous and it's going away. But there is actually new laws coming into play with that. So I would just be really delicate with that issue. Unless you have a genuine non-biased reason, why? Why do you guys get presidents in Broadwater County over non?
Yeah.
And if you can say, well, it's restricted this, that, and the other, they're immediately gonna say, well, I have more money. Oh, I have insurance. Well, I have this. Well, I bring a business. So just be really delicate with that. I could have said that. Can I go away now?
Yeah,
Can I go now?
thank you.
Sure, sure.
Well, that's exactly the reason we have to tread lightly here is because it's a possibility we could get pushback on it.
Yeah,
I think the reasoning was, like Bob said, there's skin in the game. There's, if you're a resident and paying taxes locally, and there's 2 slots and 5 people want slots, I guess that was the reasoning. Now, whether that holds water in the legal standing, I don't know. But we'll find
do
out.
you guys have an attorney or does this the commissioner?
Well, this is our county commissioner, and we have county attorneys that will review
So the
it.
county attorney helps cover for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if they all had to have
Yeah,
separate
so
ones.
they're just making suggestions.
Oh.
So whatever this document they suggest, and we'll go to the county attorney. He'll vet it and say, yes, if we can do it, no, we can't do it.
Okay, I
come back
thought you
with-
guys had to be
Come
separate.
back with different language.
Okay.
So this is gonna go back and forth a couple times.
Yeah, this is basically what we would like, what would be nice to have, and then
Gotcha.
it'll go through the process and see what comes out the other end.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
that's
it's,
all right.
I appreciate it, and that's exactly why we have to be careful, because we're gonna get into
I would
trouble.
suggest the lottery. Maybe do a lottery with one if it comes back as a no.
Okay. Yeah, the 2 ideas that were put forth were first come, first served. And then the idea was brought up that we prioritize county residents, so. What are your thoughts?
Well, as we discussed before, I think it makes sense from the standpoint of, as we were discussing, if you're paying taxes in this county, which some of those taxes go to the support of the airport, and you apply simultaneously with someone that's not of the county, then you essentially have, I think, a priority from the standpoint that we've discussed in terms of having the opportunity to take advantage of the fact that it's, the airport in your county, and that, and you've made that request. And I think that would, also go for businesses, is what we wanna do, is essentially support economic development in the county.
Yeah.
We'll stay in the county, so.
And what's been happening too is, as the 2 bigger cities around us grow, the fear is that we'll become cheap overflow parking. And it is very cost efficient as far as the rent, the lease payment goes. And that's what Three Forks has dealt with. They are now completely full. There is no hangar spots, and there's not going to be for a while anyway, for the foreseeable future. And that's what our concern is. So. Okay, so should we leave it as written and see what happens there? Do we-
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then I'm not good at typing, so I didn't type out the whole next document, so I just put in brackets the required document list, which was the Madison County checklist.
Mhm.
And frankly, I don't know what's appropriate to have on there, so I wasn't gonna take a stab at it. What's on here now is this is hangar lease construction application from Madison County. Their required documents checklist is a filled out lease, signed contractor requirements, minimum standards and rules, hangar plans, elevation and floor, hangar trim color samples, a check for the first year of the lease, and then to us would be state building permit and state electrical permit.
Mhm.
My question is, when you're applying to get a lease, there's some expense involved in that. Do we want to require that just to apply? You know what I mean? I guess if, someone from the public comes in, if I'm Joe Schmo and I come in and I say, well, yeah, I'm interested in leasing a hangar, and before I can apply, I have to go out and get all these
Permits.
permits.
Right.
When I have no idea if I have a chance. I might be one of 10 people
Right.
vying for one slot.
You know, I think that list that Broadwater County had was given after the application was
Mhm.
approved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
that-
when that happened.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
the application is approved, state building permit and
Yeah.
state electric permit
Right.
will be required.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, and that was part of this process, is we wanna show them on the application that these will be required,
Right.
which I think is the right time to
Mhm.
say it. So,
Right.
okay, so maybe let's, as far as the
On approval of the
lease application requirements, we should strike that out,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
I think so.
checklist.
yeah, it's essentially a
Just noted,
checklist.
just noted underneath.
So we will note that will be required upon approval. We could put that in there.
Mhm.
Okay, so maybe I'll just change that to required documents
Upon approval.
upon approval,
Yep.
and then list them. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And then I think we thought that the existing requirements for hangar construction at the Townsend City County Airport document was pretty good.
Mhm.
Again, I was lazy and didn't retype it.
Which is fine.
So it serves no purpose to anyone, so I don't do it. That is this
Yeah,
one.
right. Mhm. Mhm.
It's probably gonna be, yeah, it's probably gonna need to be retyped, because the one you sent me, Daryl, was a PDF. So if you want me to, I mean, if whoever retypes that.
Yeah, so let's,
I can't send it to you in a Word document so that you can do anything with it, is the thing, I don't think.
so if there's
Yeah.
any changes we want to make to this document, let's do it now, and then Barbara can include it in my chicken scratching document.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think there was a Word document. It was,
There was, I couldn't find it, Jesse.
yeah,
It was PDF, it's okay, I can retype it, I can do
Okay.
that.
keep your fingers happy.
Yeah.
The only changes I had, and that's the last thing on my list here, is the addition of these 3 bullet points. All hangars shall be primarily used to hangar airworthy aircraft.
Mhm.
Additional use of the hangar shall be at the discretion and approval of the airport board. Lot leases, this is number 2. Lot leases will be for the use of the applicant, and there's probably a better way to word this, but this is how I put it. And not for the purpose of development with the intent of selling. That was Lance's recommendation, that we don't sell to developers that are simply looking to flip it, build it, and then jack the price up and sell.
Mhm.
So however we want to word that, somebody more intelligent than me can do that. Number 3, the size of the proposed hangar will be appropriate to the lot size as determined by the airport board. And this document already tells of side walls and minimum size, distances from the taxiway, etc. So that's already been covered.
All the offsets. Yep.
So is there any other changes that we want to make to this existing requirements for hangar construction? There's some of it might be a little redundant, and when we're typing it up, we can eliminate anything that's said twice or whatever, but.
And you didn't put anything in there about the FBO or reserve the right to allocate reserved lots for an FBO or other purpose determined by the board. That's probably in there.
Oh,
Well, that's just in the minutes. I'm just bringing it up, it's in the minutes. Is this the prerequisites? Is that what you're talking about? Prerequisites?
yeah, did I not include that? Okay.
No, but I don't know if you need to, if it's in the lease, I think the other ones are all there.
Yeah, and that's not a policy thing, it's just a statement that says,
Maybe you don't need it.
great, yeah, please. I might even have it.
Did you, oh, sorry, it's on the June 5th.
Would you read it for us, please?
Yeah, so underneath prerequisites, it says 1 lot per person. This is how I wrote it.
Yep.
Okay, so 1 lot per person, commercial entity. Airport board reserve the right to allocate reserved lots for an FBO or other purpose determined by the board to be in the public interest and long-term interest of the airport. 3 is hangar is used primarily for aircraft storage. 4 is no contractors, developers for a speculative building.
Yep.
And 5, it was hangar size appropriate to the size of the lot at discretion of the board.
Okay, so we've already got the last 3. I forgot to include the first 2, 1 lot per person / commercial entity. And we reserve the right to allocate / reserve lots. Okay, so we have to add those 2, okay.
Yeah, so we could just pull that directly from the minutes.
That's how you want it to sound, that's how that was my wording.
Yeah,
It
no,
makes
Unless,
sense.
yeah, unless somebody wants to change it, that sounds
No, I
good to
think
me.
that's
I know.
appropriate.
I mean, it was your wording at the minutes, but
I was just spinning gold.
you did great.
Okay, well, any other things we missed, want to add or subtract?
I think that covers it.
Okay, so do you have what you need, Aubrey, to type that up?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
And so we'll send it to you,
Yeah.
okay? Do you
and
need a
that check
formal,
sheet,
Yeah,
you
and then
made
I'll forward it to our attorneys and then,
okay.
Let
There's
them-
no sense in voting on it now since it's
no,
just.
because they'll have to legalese it and
Okay.
all that, and then it'll come back and.
Sweet. Okay, that was easier than I thought it would be.
Did you also have, on the check sheet, you left the pre-construction safety review, right? I see that the check sheet is a little confused. So is it the state building permit? We don't do a construction demolition permit, do we?
No, we
It's
said.
the state building permit.
We said instead of that bullet point, we'd say state building permit and state electrical permit.
And no pre-construction safety review.
No, that's county specific, which doesn't apply to us,
Okay,
I believe.
okay. right, I got it.
The only other change to the bullet points is we're gonna remove earth tone.
Got it, to be approved by the board. Okay, okay, thanks.
Okay.
All right, I gotta get this organized a sec here. Okay. Finalized hanger list. I'm not very familiar with
No,
that.
me, if that's me. So before we, I'm trying to get a finalized hanger list of everybody, and I got on the website, I got the email, I need to do that, get the password set up, to look to see, because we have to turn those into the FAA, I just don't know who to send the lease. When all this dust settles and we have everything we need, we're gonna have to send out a new lease agreement, and then I think we talked about an addendum that shows the differences, or we can talk about that later, but anyway, I'm gonna have to send it out to everybody. And all I have are addresses and some N numbers and some lists that don't match, and I don't really know. So I think if I get on that website, I think I can get the last one. I just need to know if there's any changes. And Dwight's been helping me with like the Irwin one, and there was a couple other ones that were added, and
Didn't the list I gave you had all the addresses? Because that's the
they
one
did,
that.
so we're gonna do it snail mail through envelopes, is that what we're gonna do? Okay. That's all that was, is just making sure I had everybody, so I don't miss anybody sending
Yeah,
out the.
and I don't know who you give that to, Lance, maybe.
What's that?
There's a website, I think, well, they have to register it anyway when they do it, so I think they have to talk with him whenever they put their plane anywhere, but
Are we talking about two different things?
maybe we
You're talking
don't.
about the N number registration?
Does everybody in the hangar have to have an N number registration?
Not necessarily.
Not
No.
necessarily,
No.
okay, so I guess I just need the hangar lease, who needs to be sent a lease agreement, that's what I
Yeah.
need. And I think the one that you sent me is up to date?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's up to date.
Okay. That's all I need then.
Okay.
So when we're all ready to go, you let me know when I'm supposed to be sending those out. We gotta get a finalized lease agreement first, I guess, back and forth, so it'll be a while.
Are we doing new leases for everyone or an addendum on existing leases?
We'll have to wait till we're done.
Okay, so
I-
we can decide that later.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be an addendum for existing people, and then we
Yeah.
have, what, 3 people that need new leases?
Okay.
Something like that, yeah. Okay. You need anything else on that, Barbara?
Thank you.
Okay, transient and long-term parking policies, we brought this up at the last meeting because we have no policy. I have, an email from Jess who did a bunch of legwork on this.
I think I have a copy of that right here. I'm just-
It should be in your packet.
So she called some surrounding airports, Big Timber, no policy and no issues. Three Forks, same deal, it's been brought to their attention, but they have no policy and no issues for airplanes.
And I talked to Nick about that, the manager down there, and they just decided they're not moving on it at this point because they don't think it's an issue. What Nick has been doing, aircraft that have been parked there, he has been able to track down the owners and talk with them about the condition of the aircraft and making sure that it's airworthy. So he's been the one that's actually been managing that, you know, since
Okay.
from the standpoint of one-on-one discussions with the owners.
Okay.
That was Three Forks,
That's
Rob?
Three Forks.
Yeah, it seems to me the main thing they have is cars that are left there for months at a time without being used.
And semi-trucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a semi that's hangs out down there.
Boulder, same thing, no issues, no policy. Laurel has a policy. They have a long-term parking area. Short-term, they don't do anything with. Just to back out, in 30,000-foot view, it was brought up because it may become an issue at some point, and we have no policy.
Right.
So we could continue to do that, or we could come up with a policy.
Can't they park their car in the hangar?
That's what we did in Ross Aviation in Phoenix. They have their fancy car, because it was Scottsdale, and they park it in the hangar because there was enough room. Then the sun doesn't heat it up or the snow, and then we would just offer a ride on a golf cart to drop them off or back and forth, they could call it in. So then you don't have to see it, it's not ugly to, it's in the hangar, it's protected, and you don't have to worry about hail damage and insurance policies.
Yeah, so our official policy on that is, the hangars are primarily used for aircraft, and also we're not into micromanaging what they put in there in any given moment. So, if you pull your airplane out and park your pickup in there, I don't think,
Yeah, I
Anybody
don't think
cares.
anybody has a problem. I think where they're running into a problem there is out-of-town people that are leaving a vehicle there. So when they fly in, they have a vehicle to go. They don't have a hangar.
Yeah, but
So-
that's actually not the issue.
no.
We have a parking lot for that.
Yeah.
I know
The
we
issue
do.
is aircraft that,
Mhm.
and we see, it ends up with derelict aircraft sitting
Yeah.
on the ramp for years at a time.
Yep.
Right,
Oh.
exactly.
That's, I think
You
that
get into
was-
the larger areas like,
Yep.
I'm sure Bozeman has the same thing as Billings or similar.
Right,
They charge $25 a month to park a car at the airport.
right.
Charge them to park their plane or move it per month.
Well, that's what we're deciding. Do we want to have a policy in place, or do we cross that bridge when we get there?
And can cross that bridge when we get there.
Because
Personally.
it has not been an issue.
I would agree, you know, I think that what Nick is doing at Three Forks makes a lot of sense, you know, essentially to track down the owner of the aircraft if it appears to be sitting there for an extraordinarily long time. And, because it's registered, you can track the individual down and then determine the status of the airplane.
Yep.
So I think that's what, you know, they've decided to do there at this point. And
You
that's
remember
working.
that repo airplane show?
Oh.
The people, people
Yeah.
hide their airplanes out in these little places like this and.
Yep. So for that.
You know, something we may consider though is an unworthy aircraft, after 6 months, I think we should start charging for the aircraft sitting there if it's not
Yeah.
airworthy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
create a definition of what is what, and then it will kind of solve itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's okay to set the precedence. I don't think it's bad to say, hey, you have 90 days, we've called you 10 times, we've emailed you, we've sent you snail mail, haven't done this, you've had 3 months. You know, we're not surrounding airports, we do want it to look nice and clean, we appreciate our community, and it's okay to say, hey, it's, I don't know, you know, $25 or whatever, like he's saying, or it doesn't fly. We're gonna charge you this.
Well, let's do it this way.
Its own power.
Before we get into the weeds on the finer points, let's decide if we want to address the issue. So, option one is cross that bridge when we get there. In other words, do like the surrounding airports. So we don't have a policy, we'll handle it. Or option two is create a policy with specifics that we can discuss. What do you? So, of the 3 board members here, let's get your
Well,
thoughts.
I think that, it seems to be working for Three Forks to have the airport manager, query, you know, the owner of the aircraft, if in fact the aircraft is there for an extended period of time. I don't know, Dwight, does that sound reasonable to you from the standpoint of your duties and?
I've had 2 people contact
Hey,
me.
Dwight,
Oh,
sorry.
Dwight Thompson, airport manager. I've had 2 people contact me about parking their aircraft. It's mostly from the Three Forks Belgrade, Clint Saunders and Jeremy Metz. And it was nice that they called and asked about it. My only concern is come wintertime, you know, if the aircraft is tied down in the on the tarmac and we have snow, you know, having the, some type of a policy or something that they'll 90 days or something without, you know, talking to the airport board or myself or something, instead of just tying it down and abandoning it. But
Well-
I haven't had an issue yet, but I think all the small airports are seeing the same thing right now. There is more planes than there are places to park them. And it just seems like, you know, things are filtering here more. Had people that were here for the the Ace, and they want to know about hangar lots and stuff. So I think the picture I'm getting is that there's just people are looking for places to park airplanes.
Okay, thank you.
So, Dwight, I think we were talking in the last meeting, I think, and you were indicating that was because of the construction at the Three Forks.
Construction at Three
Airport.
Forks,
They were
yeah.
Trying to, put the aircraft somewhere where they can continue to operate the aircraft and not be shut down because
Yeah.
of the construction work. It's gonna close the runway.
And I'm not sure on on Clint if is he in Three Forks also? Do you know him?
Sorry?
Clint Saunders. Is he in Three Forks or Belgrade?
I don't know that name.
Yeah. But I think Jeremy is in Three
Yeah,
Forks. Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So that problem's going to go away as soon as the construction is done. So that's reasonable that they're going to be here. Being able to use their plane that's close.
Mhm.
So.
Yep.
So you're leaning towards modeling after what Three Forks is doing, am I reading that right?
Well, essentially, the way I'm thinking about it is that until we really have a problem where we see an aircraft show up and we don't have an individual that is going to keep that aircraft airworthy, then, I think at that point, we can take it on an individual basis. So
Okay.
I think that might be a way to go rather than creating something that at this point in time we don't need.
Okay.
If we don't have any aircraft
Yep.
that are derelict. I mean, at Three Forks, I've seen 3 aircraft there, and it turns out that all those aircraft were moved over from Bozeman because of the lack of tie-down space and not having hangars. And Nick has been able to determine that all those aircraft are airworthy, and they have flown. And so, he's just keeping track of that.
Okay.
So, I think maybe continuing to look at policies is a good idea, just to have it in our back pocket if we want to institute it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at this point, since we don't have this problem, not necessarily necessary to implement it at this point in time.
Okay. Bob?
I would agree with that,
Okay.
until we have a problem. Something that Dwight probably might take a look at. You got people coming in and they're gonna park the planes there and they're not gonna be flying them all the time. Especially in the winter. Let's not random park them. Let's put them in a line on one of them lines of tie downs so the county can do their plowing.
Okay, and then Jess, who isn't here tonight, did email, and her conclusion on this was basically the same. She said, until it becomes an issue, I say we don't worry about a policy. If it should come up in discussions in the future, suggest the aircraft might be airworthy and removed before snow hits. So we have 3 of us saying, let a sleeping dog lie. I don't feel strongly about it either, I guess.
One thing about it, if we have a group of aircraft parked there and they're using them, they're also using our fuel most
That's right.
likely.
Yeah, and it's a public airport. It's there
That's
for
right.
the public's use,
Exactly.
including tie-downs. Okay, so I think we'll drop this. If everybody's cool with that. Okay. All right, Dwight, do you have a report for us?
Dwight Thompson, Airport Manager. So it's been a busy month, as all of you know, and we've had a couple of fly-ins out at Canyon Ferry, the Boy Scouts, and I ran out of time, but they had sent a letter thanking everybody for coming and helping out with that event for them to work towards their aviation badges. And then we also had the Montana Aeronautics ACE program the following Saturday. It was just nice, 2 nice events. So the biggest thing I have going on right now is our mower. It sprung a leak in the radiator, and it has to do with the shroud. And I took it down to Churchill, to where they sell the mowers, and they got back to me. And I think I contacted Adam. I'm afraid to even tell you what the price of a new radiator is, but it's $900. And I think because you say Broadwater County Airport, airplane, price, I don't know. But they did call me today, Dave did, and because I told them we couldn't afford a new $900 radiator for a lawnmower. And they did send it to a repair shop, and it did pressure test, and they're hoping to get it back and get it mounted up. So I'm having it serviced while it's there. So, but yeah, so we'll see how that works. I replaced the windsock out at the city airport. So the outhouse, if you had a chance to take a look at it out at Canyon Ferry, but we did some painting and stuff there, and the roof is in real bad repair. The good news is that little shelter building is not, it's usable, and I think if we at some point looked at putting a metal roof on that before the roof completely disintegrates, might be an idea to do, or maybe even some siding, I don't know, but sort of find a quote and see what that would be if you're interested in me doing that. But I think by maintaining it, and it could probably last for years instead of trying to, once it fails, then we're kind of out of luck. The Canyon Ferry Airport did get an upgrade from the FAA on the 1050 exam. And I've got one here for Carol too. And I'm not sure when that was last done, the 1050 exam, but the airport was listed in poor condition. And since they did the this report, we've actually had improvement again with it, but it went from poor, past fair, up to good, and we rolled it again last week, and I think a lot of it was the weeds and stuff last year that were up high and stuff that you guys are aware of and stuff. So that's a nice thing that.
Yeah, I think
So
based on
it,
seeing it today, it should be listed as excellent.
But, the part of that is probably going back to when we had the weed problem last year. and
I think so.
We couldn't,
Couldn't mow it, yeah.
we couldn't get it mowed, we couldn't, we were in a world of hurt.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. I think that's where it's at, yeah.
Because we always rolled it.
Yeah.
And they rolled it last year.
Yeah.
But now we're getting it rolled twice a year, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. They rolled it last week. It was good timing because we had a previous rain there, so. And then he also rolled the tie-down area, which was nice. So. And I met with the Montana Pilots Association, Mike Viva, and he came down last week, and we put in the runway within the runway thing, painted those squares. Rob was out tonight with his drone, and we took some pictures, so we can send those in for that article and for Aubrey to put it in on our web page. So it's
Wow.
a little nicer pictures than what we tried out with Aubrey. So.
That's hard to do. It's like
Aubrey and I tried, but
It's
it was tough.
an iPhone.
I'm not a photographer, you can't slow the airplane down slow enough to.
I'm too distracted.
So,
Yeah,
That's-
and state aeronautics would probably put that in Montana in the sky too if we send them.
yeah, that's what we're trying to shoot for. Their deadline is actually Friday for the August. July is already put together. So, but Mike has sent. Mike and I worked on a letter for them, and I think I sent that down to Rob, and we'll just kind of try to get that sent up there, and then we'll put something out at the shelter describing the markers and how it works.
There was one at both shelters last year.
Oh, okay.
One of them was at the shelter out Canyon Ferry,
And
and
one
then,
here.
then there was one over at the Townsend Airport, right there. I think it was on the outside of that cabinet that's by the fuel system.
Oh,
We mounted it there,
yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
they could see know that it was out.
Was
there.
out there. Oh, neat. Yeah. And that's all I got going right now, so.
Thank you, yeah,
Any questions?
it looks great.
Yeah, it does look great.
He's got excellent signage up in the little shelter, whatever we call it, about the vicinity to food and services and whatever. It looks really good.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you. No other questions for Dwight?
That update in the final draft of hangar construction, did we approve that?
Yes. Well, yes. So Aubrey's gonna type a draft,
So I put final draft, I shouldn't have put final draft, I should,
intermediate draft.
intermediate draft. I still have to present it to you probably again.
Okay, airport board vacancy candidates. So
I gave you Seth's a little while ago, and then Cliff, I have Cliff's with me, but I gave you a copy of AJ's, who's sitting here.
yeah, so Seth, we have had his application or letter and resume, and we have interviewed him here. The same is true with Cliff. We have had his letter and have interviewed him in a board meeting. AJ is new to us, so
Yeah.
if you want to take the microphone, we'll get to know you.
Sure, eh?
We have your resume here too as well.
I saw. Shoot, Captain.
Well, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Where do you live? And why are you interested in the board?
So we live on a windy meadow right now. I grew up in Manhattan, Montana. I was gone for 10 years. My husband's a pilot. I met him in Phoenix. So our world became very aviation driven, obviously. Pilot Wives, we're a group. We have a Facebook group, many of them. So then I met him when I was working at Sky Harbor Airport, Phoenix. We worked for the subsidiary of American Airlines, which is Piedmont. I worked there for 3 years. I worked ramp, connections, and commissary till I got pregnant. Then they were obligated, because of the hazardness of the jet fuel, to put me in operations and do FAA audits, which I actually liked. I could not find a babysitter after 2019 for our youngest, Ula, so I didn't go back. My husband still flies corporate. He does not do mainline. He does private owner-operator, and we've worked with the FBO. We did Wings and Wheels for 3 years, and we also helped with the security and the sales and brokering of those planes. He did a lot of that. I'm there, and I hear a lot of it. I am not fluent in every verbiage in aviation, so let's be clear about that.
Where did you say that was?
At Ross Aviation, the FBO in North Scottsdale.
Okay.
Rick is the manager. I can't say his last name, Wabashabi, but that's, I think, actually from that one movie, The Two Grumpy Old Men. And then I just finally got back into work after not working forever because I'm a mom, and I'm starting at the Jet Center, and they just took over, like me and Seth were talking about, the clubs, hangars, and their planes. So I will be doing that. That's not on my resume. So I'll be going back into aviation.
The Jet
And-
Center where? I apologize.
You're fine. In Bozeman, or Belgrade, whatever. They call it Bozeman. It's
Yeah.
really Belgrade, and
Gotcha.
I hate that. I wish they would clarify that.
BZN, we'll call it. All right.
Yep. I'm pretty comfortable with legal documents, and I say that with like a smirk. I don't know how to divulge this delicately. I'm not a delicate person. I'm pretty straightforward. I'm good with court. My husband had different things that he needed help with. I refused to pay attorneys, as much as I love attorneys. They're very expensive, so I always drafted every legal document and then submitted it for review, and then I would change it because I'm not paying for a paralegal to do it when I'm perfectly competent at home. I actually just did 7 documents for a different court case later here before I came in here. So I don't mind doing them. I enjoy them. I'm very particular about verbiage. I'm very proactive with my verbiage, meaning it might not have happened, but let's assume it will because I want to deal with it and be done and not come back around and write an addendum.
Right.
So real estate school helped with that. I did that before I met my husband. So 2014 to 16. I also speak quickly, and if I talk too fast, tell me to slow down, as my father constantly tells me to.
Are you any way involved in the airport now? You said you don't fly. Does your husband fly
My
in
husband-
the area?
He doesn't fly here. We don't own a plane.
Yep.
He wants a jet.
Yeah.
He's flying for Freedom Aviation for corporate, And I just got involved with this because I want to be back in the real world. I've never been on a board. I am finishing my degree in chemical engineering and aviation, partners with that. UND is also an aeronautics campus, so we have connections there. It's one of those things where I just need to get out and be proactive in life again. And yes, I have a job, but it's still technically 30 hours in my role is part-time. It's not 50. So this would be something I would do because I want to be here and do it and be a part of something. That might not be what you're looking for because I don't own a plane, but I don't own a plane.
That's fine. That was gonna be my next question, is schedule. So you're commuting to work, now, right? But it
I
sounds
am,
like-
but I get full control over my schedule, which is really nice, and that was one of the things that I bartered very hard for.
Okay,
So they're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Sunday, like every day of the week. And I typically go on like 8 to 5, 3 days a week, maybe 4, depending on what I want to do.
okay.
Any other questions?
Bob or Rob?
No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's a nice problem to have. We have 3 candidates for a position that is wonderful. That
It
is
is.
not always the case. So one of the candidates, Cliff, very nice gentleman, doesn't have a background or a lot of aviation experience. Not a pilot. He had asked me if, and I think also Bob, if you have to be a pilot to be on the board. The answer is no. There's no requirement of that, although if you're not at least somewhat in aviation, it's hard to know.
Hard to visualize the various programs that we deal with.
Yeah, and what is needed, and anyway, nothing against him. I just don't know the value to an airport board of managing an airport if there's not a lot of airport knowledge, if that makes any sense. Seth, we know we've had him here many weeks and got to know him better at the Canyon Ferry Fly-In Boy Scouts thing a little bit better. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I think, I would say that the critical thing is a good working knowledge of aviation-related topics. And so, both from, the standpoint of understanding airport operations as well as, essentially the needs of pilots in terms of what they, the need for support and what they need in terms of, the types of airport facilities, and working knowledge of essentially what we need in terms of maintaining the airport and looking forward to expansion of the airport, additional services that we can provide, such as additional equipment for safety, such as an AWAS that we've had a lot of discussion about, and also looking forward toward eventually expanding the airport for having a full-length taxiway, have the ability to then add instrument approaches into the airport, so people that have an understanding of these processes and how this would move forward in terms of the continuing economic value and safety of the airport environment. So I think those are all factors that we have to consider in terms of the candidates.
Agreed.
I agree.
Well, how do we want to do this? I propose that we make a decision tonight, and that doesn't have to be to vote one of the 2 aviation backgrounded people on. It can be one or no one. I would propose we move forward with this. We've had a vacancy for a long time, and I would love it to be filled and have a full airport board for the first time in a while.
You looking for a motion?
Yes.
Or a recommendation.
Okay.
Well, let's, we can do a motion or a recommendation. If we do a motion, we can discuss.
Okay, I will move that, we, ask Seth to join the board,
Okay?
due to his continual knowledge, aircraft, and he's, a little more knowledgeable. Along with that, I'd like to see Ashley and whoever else is interested in the board, whenever you have a time, come to our board meetings. You will learn.
Okay, there's a
And-
motion on the table to offer the board position to Seth Wolfgram.
I'll second that.
Okay? Discussion. Yeah, I would agree. Certainly, nothing against AJ, and would love for you to come to the meetings and whatnot. Seth is a little more immersed in aviation locally, and I think that does bring a lot of value to the board. And I mean, after all, it is our job to make sure that this airport is usable for the flying public, and I think Seth would bring a lot of value to that.
And I certainly agree.
Any further discussion?
Question on the motion?
Okay, all in favor of Seth Wolfgram to fill the board position, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And thank you, AJ, we do appreciate it. It's wonderful that,
I love that.
You're setting the bar pretty high for me, so.
No, you're fine.
So that'll be a recommendation then of the commission. The commission will make that appointment.
okay,
And as long as it's in the minutes, so then we'll put that on our agenda and
okay, so it's pending approval by the commission. Okay,
Commissioners.
great.
I don't know if you can just send her a reminder of this. You know, I'd like it'll be in the minutes and
Yes,
then,
yeah, it'll be in a minute.
and you still have, do you still have Seth's,
Seth's,
letter of interest?
yes.
Okay, if not, I'm sure I could find it too.
No, I think I did. Do we need that
Oh.
with the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, fuel pricing, there's not much there. The price, wholesale price remains the same. We're at $5.95 now. Yay.
It went through.
It went through. It
Good.
is charging correctly at the airport. I did notice a couple places online still show at $6.60. The two places I use are Garmin Pilot and SkyVector, and I don't know if that system takes a while to update or.
I only have
100 Lowland had dropped me a note, and I used to forward them to you. And this last one I didn't forward because I didn't know whether Aubrey's got in touch with them or.
just ForeFlight and AirNav is all I go on and do and change. I couldn't get on. Remember we were emailing back and forth, and for whatever reason I couldn't get into Garmin or the other one.
Well, it's my understanding that they draw their information from AirNav.
Those two. Okay, so I'll check it. I thought I got it because I think he
Got
gave me the go ahead to change
AirNav
it.
and 100lowland.com, and both of them
Yeah.
do the same thing.
Okay,
Anyway,
I'll-
I was looking today and it still shows, if you're flying cross country and you look it up on one of these programs, it says $6.60 on it, but.
Okay, I'll go double check and see if I can change.
And it may be that it only updates so often, I don't know. but
And you wanted it
95.
$5.95.
Okay. Yeah,
I didn't know whether to bring this in the airport manager report or in this.
Sure.
But, we did have the hiccup with the county. We went from $6.60 to $5.95. It just wasn't working. And there was a few pilots that did buy it. It was advertised at $5.95, and it registered on the pump at $5.95 a gallon. I'm not sure how we're going to reimburse those guys, or what do we
It's
need to
already been
do?
done.
What's that?
It's already been done.
It's been done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they submitted receipts and the treasurer reimbursed them.
Oh, okay.
good.
Okay, so we're good.
Thank you.
at least the ones that I know about,
Okay.
put it that way.
Yeah, anyway, I would love to see that, price get advertised. We're using, I think, Dwight sent me the fuel usage and we're using 11 gallons a day right now in the summer. So we need to get that fuel moving.
I did my part, I got 20+ gallons.
Nice. Okay, new business, consumer price index rate adjustment for the hangar leases. And we have an email from Daryl.
I'll just send this example around. This is what they did in the past.
Now, this is supposed to be done every year,
Yep.
which we have not been doing, and
Right.
Bob and I were discussing it. I'd have to look back at the last time we did it, but anyway, we'll do it now.
Yeah. I think in the past, is that they always did it like the first of the year. Um,
That would make sense.
Yeah. And then, so the reason why it's important for tonight to make that decision is the treasurer will be sending out the hangar lease statements that first week in July.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to,
I'd stopped down, tried to pay my through the fence today and they wouldn't accept it.
no,
Yeah, and it's gonna stay the same, you know. It's not really tied to the hangar leases, it's just a flat 150. So I'll stop back down next week or something.
Okay, so our current rate is 11 cents even, correct?
Yeah.
You looked up the CPI, and now that's the last rolling 12 months, I believe. You had it 4.9%.
right. And then the formula for that is in the new, the lease, the new hangar lease agreement. It explains how that works. And I kind of just did some quick math based on the current CPI, and it really changes it like, I don't know, 0.8 of a cent or something.
Yeah, I have your
It's not
email
much.
here. It says, so at the 4.9% increase, we're gonna go from 11 cents to
0.7.
11.539.
Oh, there you go.
In other words, 11.5 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, oh, okay.
Yeah, let's take care of this January of every year going forward, but here we are, so, um, unless anybody has a problem with the last rolling 12 months of 4.9%. If there's a better way to do that, I'm listening. So I would entertain a motion to do the CPI at 4.9% at 11.5 cents.
I'll move to, what's the actual terminology?
That might not be the best place to read it. I'll find it in the lease here. The lease says this: in the first quarter of each calendar year, the airport board will research the prior year's CPI increase and calculate the base rate. They give an example of 11 cents. CPI for that period was 7.7%, et cetera. So that's basically how we're doing it.
So I'll move to adjust the hangar lease rates to the CPI at 4.9%, which will increase the square footage by 0.115 cents per square foot.
To be clear, it'll go to 11.5 cents.
Excuse me,
but-
Yeah.
to that rate per square foot.
I will second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to increase, according to the CPI, increase the lease rate from 11 cents per square foot to 11.5 cents per square foot. Okay, discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do you need a letter like this?
Yeah, that's just an example, that's what they've done in the past. And then we'll send it to all the hangar owner addresses. And, I was sitting here thinking that might be a good opportunity to get some feedback from them, to put their contact information.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
have emails and phone numbers. We do need to be able to get a hold of these folks on a short notice if something does happen.
Okay,
Yeah.
So this'll
If
go,
I can-
this'll go to you though for the minutes, and you'll, and the county puts this out, right, to the hangar owners? She needs to do it, I send it.
You'll send it.
I send it.
Bob?
I'd like to back up for just a second, back to the fuel pricing and the people that hold, are always calling, trying to find a new price and so on and so forth. That 100loled.com, they supply the information to like ForeFlight and so on and so forth. So when you're flying over with your iPad, the fuel price is there for every place you go by, or you can look it up on the computer at home before you leave. So
And that's
it-
separate from, like AirNav?
AirNav is a different one, 100 OLED's a different one, and there may be some other ones also that I'm not aware of. But those are the two that I've used, and I've used them for 15 years.
Mhm.
If I'm gonna run down to, if we're gonna go to Phoenix for a week or two in the wintertime, I know where I'm gonna stop and get fuel and.
Yep.
and
So can I ask you to work with Abra to get 100 low lead straightened out?
Sure, sure.
I tried to
And-
get on there and I failed.
Well, that's one of the ones you sent me, wasn't it?
Yes.
That and Garmin, and it wouldn't, for whatever reason, you couldn't get to her.
Well,
What's that
and-
called, 100?
LL.com.
100ll.com.
Yeah, I
And
didn't have permission. on
let's
that.
see, do you have your email address on something here?
Yeah, on the bottom of the, I think it's on the bottom of the agenda, yep, bottom of the agenda. In blue,
Bottom of what?
our agenda. The second
Should be
page of the
second,
agenda.
second page.
Second page,
The back of the, yeah,
It's in
the
blue.
back. No, the back of that first one. There you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Now, I did set it, I'm the one that set it up for both 100 OLED and AirNav. I have no idea if that's been changed since I was not there.
well, I'm on AirNav, I can get into AirNav and ForeFlight. I can change them both there.
Okay, that 100loled.com, I think ForeFlight uses them, Seattle Avionics uses them.
So it should be okay.
There's
Yeah, I'll go ahead and see if I
several
change
different
that.
ones that programs for navigation. And I think most of them either use AirNav or 100loled.com. So, but I may still have passwords for them that, I don't know if they've been passed along or not.
Okay, well, you guys
I
can
know
work
one
together and
time
get that
Jesse had
straightened
one.
out.
I think I still have the passwords, unless she changed them or something.
Sure, okay.
Yes,
Maybe that's where the problem was that I saw today. Okay, meeting time change, that's a fun one. I think everybody is,
That was my
Looking
thing
for it.
from our post-meeting discussion last time.
that was your idea, right?
That was my idea.
Well, aren't
yeah.
you the popular one?
Yeah, so
Yes,
so
thank
the
you.
idea was to shift the meeting from 7 PM to 6 PM so that we could get here earlier and get out quicker and get home before it's middle of the night. So
I
think
am-
we all kind of agreed with that idea.
Yeah, I'm personally strongly in favor. You're
Yep,
obviously
I'm
in favor.
I believe Bob was too, and I think Jess was fine with it as well, so.
And Abra did look to make sure this room was available, and it was.
Yep.
Yep.
Somebody was in here today, the robotics was in here today when I came in here. I'll have to make sure they're not in here.
Well, we're on a different week this go around too.
That's
so
right,
Yeah.
that's true. You're right.
Does that work for Seth?
We'll make it work.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move to shift our meeting time to 6 PM, third Wednesday of the month.
third Wednesday of the month?
Same one we've been,
Yep. I will second that.
Okay, the motion is to move the meeting from 7 PM to 6 PM, third Wednesday of the month. Daryl, I should have asked if that's fine with you or what your thoughts are.
Oh, yeah, you bet, that's just fine. Yeah.
and Angie said she was all in on that. Okay.
Angie needs a little more sleep.
I need some sleep.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Does that go into effect tonight?
Let's do that starting next meeting, right?
Which
That
is
works for
the,
everybody?
That'd be the fourth Wednesday,
yeah, we,
Yeah,
but we'll still do the 6 o'clock.
yeah,
Okay.
Great.
super.
Any other new business
Hold
or?
on, so we'll have to make that change on our county website?
county website, also here.
Yeah.
I already alerted Jessica that that might happen, Erickson, but yeah, I'll have to change it on there too.
Good.
Just so you know, I put the 2 newspaper articles, Luke showed me how to do that, if you go to our website, not the main one, there's another way you can get into it, I think community, I think. I put the 2 news articles from both fly-in, or the Boy Scouts and the fly-in, and then also added pictures to the scroller. I couldn't do pictures with the last group that came in, because I didn't have, I really supposed to ask permission if I could put those pictures on there, especially their children and stuff, but
Gotcha.
I had permission for Boy Scouts, so those pictures are on it.
Yeah, thank you.
So along that line, Dwight and I were out today shooting a lot of pictures, different aspects of the airport. So I'm gonna go back and do some merging so I can get a full-length lateral view of the airport with the name and elevation, all that. Windsock with, essentially the lake and the mountains in the background, so we can put that on the website.
Wow.
As well as down the runway where we can see the markers that were put in just recently, for the practicing backcountry airports and all that sort of thing. So I'll pull all that together and get it fired out to Dwight and to offer it, so that
Cool.
we have some updated stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, we weren't aware we had such a professional
Jeez,
photographer on the
came right on.
Nice. Nice to have a drone, that's helpful.
It was pretty amazing watching land that field take it up and land that thing in the this.
All fly-by-wire, it's really easy to fly, you wouldn't believe it.
Any other new business? Public comment? Okay, we will adjourn. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thanks, everybody.
That was productive.
Yeah.
Give this to you.